Hello, gonna get started in just a second. Just getting all the chats and stuff going. All right. What am I doing? Okay. I am on Argonessin today. I've got my level 15. I'll be letting people join the group here in just a second. Name is Zentrati. And I'm actually trying to start off by doing the boost, although I wasn't ready for it. How's it going? Yeah. So if you hear a little TV in the background, that's my son amusing himself with some YouTube while I'm doing the live stream here. Just ignore it or not. All right, what the heck day is it? Okay. Hello, welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. I'm DDO's Community Manager Cordovan, and I'm going to be with you for about the next hour here doing some questing over on Argonessin with Zentradi, Zentradi, if you would like to join me. Groups tend to fill up pretty quick. All right, so let me start off with what is our bonus this weekend. It is going to be a heroic and epic XP boost of 10%. That begins tomorrow, late morning Eastern time, and runs through Sunday, May 30. Is that right? May 31st is Sunday already? Oh my gosh. Yep, May 31st. So plus 10% heroic and epic XP is our boost for the weekend. Hello. Not quite sure what I'm running yet. I haven't actually gotten that far. I'm kind of running late, as it were. Yeah, thanks for the shirt comment. Yeah, what is it? Celebrating 40 years of Pac-Man, is that right, this week? So that's pretty cool. You know I'm down with that. I'm just making sure I'm going on Facebook here. Make sure I can see the chat. Hello, Matt, Justin, Titan, Johnny, Charles over on YouTube. Zer Smash, Top Hat, Forehand, JF, and crew over on Twitch. And Mauricio, Sharon, Sterling, and Eduardo over on Facebook. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Yeah, actually, Sharn Cog's quest sounds good to me. I don't actually know that I've gotten that far on Sharn, so let me find out. Oh my gosh, my inventory is a mess. I got a bunch of stuff to deal with. All right, well. There we go. All right, so unlike last week, where I had a whole bunch of news because we went live on Lemonnier with a preview that included a loot revamp, some new packs, and all sorts of goodies. It's kind of a quiet week this week. I don't actually have as much going on, so. Alright, it looks like on Sharn here, I am up to Same Old Song. So why don't we run Same Old Song, if that's alright. Yeah, also, congratulations to DDO Cast, episode 600. 600 hit last weekend. We did an Ask the Devs on that, and that was pretty groovy. Let's slip a few cool things, so definitely worth taking a watch and or listen if you were into that. Some pretty good stuff. I'm trying to remember what the biggest news that we might have done was, and now I can't think of what that was. But we definitely talked a little bit about Fei Wild, I know. I think we dropped a little bit about a couple of the mobs that are going to be in there. So that's cool. Double check. Destinies. Let me see. Just 2 action points to spend. I redid them, I believe, so that should be good. Let me clear out some inventory quick before we pop into the next quest. Don't need that. Yeah, chug that. Oops. Good enough. Alright. SpaceX Crew Dragon launch today, huh? I have to admit I've not really been following that. Sounds pretty cool. They're launching a dragon into space? I didn't even know we could do that. I'm down. When will we do Tomb of Horrors? Nothing announced. We have not said anything about plans to do Tomb of Horrors. Other than, what, no, never actually. We've never actually announced plans to do Tomb of Horrors. I would love to do it. I think the team would kind of enjoy doing that. I don't know when or if that'll ever happen, though. I think that Tomb of Horrors would be a particular challenge to get right, because people tend to think of Tomb of Horrors as the unbeatable adventure. You know, back in the day, it was really meant as like a meat grinder kind of experience. Oh, okay, we need to do Sharn Welcome here first, so that Super Penguin can enter Same Old Song. So let's just do Sharn Welcome. Next is Fei Wild, and we dropped hints about doing Isle of Dread during, whenever that was. Started with Gen Con, I believe, and then kind of continued over into a PAX of that year. Obviously, we didn't end up doing Isle of Dread next, but I would expect to see Isle of Dread at some point here in the future.
Isabelle Tremont waits for you here, atop one of Sharn's lofty towers. She can help you contact Lucien Vaughn. Isabelle tells you to take the elevator up to the terrace, then speak to Lucien Vaughn. Her employer wants you to pass along some information about the Stonehenge building. You enter the boarding house, an island of quiet in the hustle and bustle of the city. A genial actor nods to you from behind the front desk. A violent explosion shatters the tranquility of the boarding house and reduces the elevator to a smoking wall. You'll have to find another way up to the terrace. The windows shatter and agile forms swarm in.
So what else should I mention? So I would, if you have not had a chance to take a look at the Lemonnier release notes yet, please do. That'll be next in terms of content, and that's going to be a pretty big content patch because we are revamping random loot and some other big things. So that's pretty cool. Let me get to chat here in just a little bit. Let me kind of keep going on the quest. The Serenian Scepter Sharn crafted is a club. Should be a spellcasting implement like the Barovian Scepter. Okay. That's feedback for the crew, I would imagine. I'm not sure what the justification of why it should be a casting scepter is, but I have to admit I'm not that familiar with that item, so if it makes sense to do, then perhaps that will be. We are going to be doing a whole bunch of caster-related stuff on quarterstaffs here in our random loot revamp, and again, you can read about that if you want to over on the Lemonnier forums. They'll be in the regular release notes here in the relatively near future. Hello from California. It was hot in the Boston area yesterday. Too hot. It was the first day I was like, oh, yeah, right, I hate summer. Actually, I enjoy summer in many ways, except for the heat. I had to pull out the air conditioners. Make pink wings. I am down for pink Reaper wings. Game servers are up, and that's a little bit of news I guess I could mention. The transfers are back from the hardcore server, or from the hardcore server, for those who want to get their characters off in time. I did converse with Kokomojobo and crew just before going live on the live stream here today, so I've not had an opportunity to publicly announce it yet. But the intention is to keep our transfer period open through June 9th. That would be through June 9th. Should still be plenty of time to get done what you want to get done. Last time, frankly, we didn't need most of the transfer period that we ended up having. So I know it's a little shorter than maybe would be ideal, but there are reasons why we had to pick a time that was kind of before mid-June there, and that's sort of the plan. So you'll be able to transfer your characters off of the hardcore server if you want to through June 9th, and that'll be posted on the forums shortly after the live stream today, hopefully, if I do it right. I don't know, maybe not. Something like that? Okay. Shortly after the live stream-ish. I have another thing I need to do as well. Two different things, actually. There you go. Could be Growler, although not quite. Not that soon, but something like that. We have prep work we need to do before we can bring out the next season. And there's some timing that is dependent on that work that we need to get done in time. Or that we need to get done when the resources are aligned, as it were. Any hints for patch failing? Typically, that falls, like if you have a bad Wi-Fi connection or something like that, you know, whatever, it might be causing it, right? The best thing that you can do is to use the repair option in the launcher. If that doesn't work, then I would go for the next best thing, which is right-click, make sure you're running as administrator on the DDO game launcher. If that doesn't work, then I would do the more complex thing of pulling the files from your DDO installation backup folder, copying it back over into the main folder, and then that'll basically repatch it. So if you had some kind of data corruption error or something like that, that'll most likely solve that issue as well.
Head matches the description of Lucien Vaunt. He seems unruffled by the attack.
Okay. It's 104. Ugh. Thankfully, it wasn't that bad, but it was like 90, and that was not fun for my poor sensitive self.
I have a message for you, says Vaunt. The beacon belongs to
All right.
I paid the Boromar clan good money to get it, after all.
What server am I playing on? I am playing on Argonesson.
You're just setting yourself up for a fall.
Vaunt's companion makes a gesture, and the terrace collapses beneath you.
Secular, I have no idea what you're talking about. Someone's talking about basically Neverwinter populations and WotC licensing and stuff. I have no visibility on any of that stuff. I have no idea. Just wondering, as someone who plays both DDO and Locher, why do both games go down at the same time on the same day? Some of it is a shared resources question. So we have, it takes some of our tech ops people, you know, have to do work at the same time, and so for them, it kind of makes sense to do it all together. Generally, we try to stagger our weekly resets on Wednesdays so that Lotra is at 8 a.m. and DDO is at 9 a.m. and it takes about an hour to do a weekly reset. However, on days where we maybe have patches and stuff, it is true that sometimes we go live with patches on the same day. I think it's generally done to stress me out personally. No, it's not anything to do with me personally, but it does. It's something that we try not to do, although our success rate would lead one to think that we're not trying very hard sometimes. But that is the general idea: is we try not to do big game updates for both games on the same day, with about a 50% success rate doing that. But ultimately, why on the weekly restart is they're staggered 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. because our shared resources can do the work basically in one go and then get off to the rest of the stuff they need to do for the day. All right. Matt Nove is asking about sort of some of the new sort of sketchier websites that have come out there. Not the big dupe one, but the Audit and Baltic Kundaric. I have no real opinion on those, other than I am aware they exist. It would be best that as little be said about them as possible. From an official source.
Those Dosk thugs were loitering near Club Clawfoot. But this is Oromar clan territory. Something's brewing. And you're smack in the middle of it. A group of would-be patrons lingers in the courtyard. They must not be on the guest list. The bouncer opens the front door, allowing you to enter Club Clawfoot.
Now won't you listen, dearie, while
The Dosk thugs lurking outside have set the assistant's nerves on edge. He wants you to check on Club Clawfoot's employees.
Zero Cool, the free gifts are still currently available through May 31st. We are working on a little bit of news in that regard, so stay tuned. But I cannot yet announce something today. One source I would mention is this got an update, recently, the Hoarder app, and that's something that is a player-run sort of inventory management system, and it's pretty rad, so that's pretty cool. What am I looking forward to in DDO development? I'm looking forward to all sorts of stuff. Among the things I am looking forward to is Fei Wild in general, Displacer Beasts in particular. I'm looking forward to the random gen loot update. I'm looking forward to the plans for Hardcore Season 3 that I can't yet talk about. Oh, wait a second, where am I going?
The employees report nothing terribly unusual.
Bunch of things, frankly.
All
Okay.
is quiet in the nightclub. Fenwick is relieved to hear that the club is safe and secure. He gives you permission to approach Regina, Club Crawford's manager. A piercing alarm reverberates throughout the night. Regina turns to you. Someone's breaching our magical wards! There must be an attack! Quick, hunters! Do what you do best!
All right. Hardcore is not annual. It's going to be more regular than that. But I don't really want to set any kind of standard pace. I think generally it's going to be when it fits right, is probably the best answer to that. Oh, I can't do either of those things. Alright.
More dimension doors have opened nearby.
Ah, you're Titan, you're finally getting your Sonic Blast, huh? Alright. On random loot, that's cool. Yeah. No, we don't. In general, I'm never going to provide specific population count numbers. That's just not how it works. I would be surprised if there's an MMO studio out there that's going to give you specifics on their population numbers. Be a generally terrible idea. However, the standings, the final standings for the Hardcore League Season 2 is on my plate of things to do. I don't know that I'm going to get to it today, but I'm going to try to at least get started on it today. And my hope is to get it out by the end of the day. Well, by Friday, let's say. I have a lot on my plate right now. We've got multiple plates a-spinning, but assuming that everything goes well, we'll have that list published on DDO.com by the weekend.
The magical alarm triggers once again. Dusk's attack on the nightclub has resumed.
You're surprised at Jay? I guess I would be curious to know what game studios you're following that give you exact population and demographic statistics. I wouldn't mind taking a look at that myself. Alright. When I adjusted the loot, what does it say? So, Marcelo, generally the random loot revamp is not going to impact the drop rate for named items. Those tend to operate on their own separate percentages, so that's kind of how that works. So I would not expect to see this impact drop rate for specifically rare loot. Sorry. Alright. Yes, Dungeon Master, you should be able to submit help tickets in-game. I know that some players run into some error issues with that. Typically, that relates to web browser caching, or maybe you've got an exceptionally old operating system, like, you know, Windows 7 and earlier.
More dimension doors have opened nearby.
Typically, one of the things you can do to try to help is, if you don't have Chrome, get Chrome. If you do have Chrome, try to make sure you clear the cookie cache for it. If you also can try to... what else? Make sure that you don't have any third-party extensions running. Typically, pop-up blockers are the worst for causing help issue screens. So make sure you don't have any pop-up blockers are that active. And generally the reason why there would be some compatibility issues in me talking about Chrome is that we utilize something called Chromium for our in-game help menu and DDO store. Chromium is not Chrome per se, but is some of the underlying architecture of Chrome. So if you are running into an issue where you are unable to open the help menu, one of the first things you can take a look at is to try to get an updated version of Chromium. Although, like I said, it also often has to do with cookies as well. Like if you've got a bad cookie or something like that, that can cause that issue. Pretty sure I got a... Oh, there we go. Alright.
You hear panic shouts, screams, and
Alright, where else are we on the map? And if that doesn't work, then get in touch with technical support. Sorry, I don't have anything better. I can't really do much more troubleshooting than that, sorry. Also, make sure you're using Windows 10, folks. Windows 7 is no longer a secure operating system. And is not currently supported by Microsoft. Alright, hey, just, yeah, let me mute the mic. I'll turn this down as soon as the TV down slightly when the quest is over there. Yep. Alright. Sorry, the work from home life sometimes gets a little loud. Alright. Okay, yeah, someone has a better tech answer than I do. Chromium is open source. Chrome is Google's build of it. It includes Google's proprietary extensions to Chromium. Anyway, from a end user perspective, a lot of times when people have been saying, I can't see the help menu by clearing their cookie cache in Chrome, and by making sure they have Chrome installed, it'll magically resolve that stuff. So that's why I passed that along. I am not techie enough to know what's up. Alright, just a second, folks. Alright, I'm back. There you go. Where are we? 12:35. Alright. Plenty of time. Ooh, legendary. Okay. It looks like I might have best laid plans as well to do. Do we use Zoom for meetings at home? No. I have been using Zoom, just like many other people have for various reasons, but not for official SSG stuff. We've been using because Microsoft stuff, I guess Teams or whatever that is, which is basically the same, but not quite.
He'll give you an off-the-record tour of the nearby warehouse.
No Gen Con this year. I know, it's a bummer. I think there might be a plan to do a very, very, very informal gathering for buffs virtually this year. If we can make that happen, I would love to, because that would be a lot of fun. Stay tuned on that, but I don't know what we're going to be able to do, or how we would do it, or, you know, why we would do it other than fun. But I think that that's the plan, is to do some kind of virtual gathering for buffs this year. Thanks, Justin, for stopping by.
Flimsy-looking grate. Then he hurries away, disappearing into the night. That must be your way inside.
Did I hear a Windows 10 update causing issues for other users? I have not heard that specifically in regard to our game. It's not uncommon that OS updates tend to not always play well with others. But I can't really, there definitely has not been any systemic issue with the DDO client in recent days. There's always some percentage of bad patching that goes on. Just, 1% or less every time the game launcher updates. My recommendation is to... this is anecdotal. This is absolutely anecdotal. So take it for what you will. I know that there are some people that like to put the DDO game launcher up and then just sort of wait for the patching to go back live. And so it fails and fails and fails and fails and fails until it gets to the point that we reopen the patch servers, and then it theoretically auto-patches up, and for many people works just fine. But I've always been of the impression that that is the root cause of a lot of people's patching issues. So if that's you, may I suggest not doing that? Wait till the game is open before opening up your game launcher. Again, I am not techie. I'm not an expert. This is anecdotal evidence only. But your mileage may vary, but I wouldn't do that.
hear a scream of pain from up above. A scream cut short with steel.
You have not missed much. Oops. Ah. How about I do this correctly? There we
A
go.
measured voice responds. What of it? The excited no bounces around.
Alright.
An otherworldly air of confidence surrounds the handsome being, who appears to be their leader. Let's pick up the pace, shall we? We still have to destroy the lab downstairs.
Someone wants to play a leprechaun? Okay.
Why not just take the stairs?
Not sure I would want
Because
to.
Victor told us not to be seen.
I would say that's probably not a real high priority for us,
Hiding
but
behind, no notices
that's
you
cool.
on the way out. It turns and howls. Burn, Father Hugger! Burn!
okay, that's it. That's it. Orange is the red triangle. Actually, is that red? Yes. There we go.
You hear a familiar voice somewhere nearby. It's Victor, acting surprised.
Oh, what's all this? Dear Orient, we have a security breach! Yeah, quickly, find them!
Whatever documents were stored in the office are beyond salvage. Still, there might be something useful down in the lab, or wherever those mercenaries went to.
So I did mention earlier it's a little techy, but not that bad. If you go into your DDO default installation folder, wherever you've got DDO installed, you'll see a subfolder called Backup. Basically, what happens is when your game patches, it takes all your old patch stuff and then puts it into that folder. But what you can do if you run into a patching issue is actually Control-A, Control-C, Control-V, go back in, grab all that stuff, send it into your main install folder, and then relaunch the game launcher. And what it'll do is it'll basically repatch up the game launcher. That could solve a lot of problems if you're running into a patching issue without having to do a complete game reinstallation or something like that. So, kind of recommend it as an option. It is, however, a little bit more techy than I think you would typically see in terms of advice. So you can just use the repair option in the game launcher or contact technical support. But if you feel comfortable doing that kind of thing, doesn't hurt.
Oh, you think you're clever, but you're nowhere near as clever as Vault. His resources are virtually limitless. I press this button, and more guards show us, just like that.
Let's see. So speaking of numbers that normally we can't talk about, I can at least say that. Siu basically asks, I assume SSG collects data. Can we say, did opening all quests to everyone had a big impact on game population and bring in new players? Yes and yes. It was one of the biggest things we've done in years in terms of our population and overall success of the game. And I think players, even anecdotally, have seen pretty clear indications that our populations are way up as a result of that. So while I can't give numbers, I can definitely say it's had a significant impact. Lots of people wanted to play DDO, I guess, during this stay-at-home period, and now, because of our free announcement, saw an opportunity to do that. So, for the class that's coming with Fei Wild, it is not going to be like Pixie or Leprechaun or that kind of thing. It's Shifter. we're going to be bringing Shifter, which I guess, actually it's not a class, it's a race. We're going to be bringing Shifter with Fei Wild. And we've talked a little bit about that, and as a matter of fact, the most recent DDO cast from episode 600, the Ask the Devs from the weekend, goes into some detail about kind of how that's going to work. So if you want to read a little bit more about how the shifter will work in DDO, I would recommend that you check that one out. What world do I mostly play on? I have characters on just about every world. The ones that are in the biggest state of development are Thelanis, as really the top, and a little bit on Kyber and Argo here and Sarlona. All right. So I love Gen Con, and I'm gonna miss... I wasn't actually sure I was gonna be able to go this year, so let me just be honest. I'm not sure how much of a delay this year impacts me personally. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to go, but I love Gen Con, so I wish them the best of luck and hope that they return stronger than ever in future years. Am I Warforged or Half-Orc? I am Half-Orc. Half-Orc Barbarian, in particular. Kind of my own... it's not really a build, it's just kind of a philosophy. A loose collection of ideas, more than a build. But it is sort of this one that I've been doing for a while that seems to work pretty well for me. I'm a little less frenzied berserker than I think generally people go into, but it works for me, so there we are. Well, we definitely would not be announcing anything like that secular on the live stream here. Future expansion plans will be announced when the time is appropriate. I don't know what you're talking about, Essie. Why can't you transfer gear from one character to another if it is bound to account and never used? You should be able to. I mean, it's account bound, but as long as both characters are on the same account, there should be... and on the same server, there should be no reason why you couldn't transfer said item to, or send it to another character. Not sure what kind of issue you're running into. Yes, the hardcore transfer issue has been figured out as of today's minor game update. We have been able to reopen character transfers from the hardcore server, and that's going to be active through June 9th. Through June 9th on that. Why Fei Wild? Eberron is the main plane. Why not Thelanis? Because we are more than just Eberron. We have, Ravenloft and some other kind of Forgotten Realms as well. So, given the cosmology of Fei Wild really being not world-specific, it made sense to use the terminology Fei Wild rather than the strict Eberron setting of the lands.
Is that a fire? Nobody goes in or out until we find them. Don't just stare there, gawky. Move!
You hear the ominous hum of a dimensional.
All right. Sorry, Tim. The old Boston Marathon memorial ribbon is a thing of the past. I haven't heard of any plans for us to offer it up again. I do apologize, though. And, sorry, I can't go into this week's sales on the Wednesday live stream. You'll have to wait till Thursday on that.
Victor directs more guards your way.
They went downstairs into the secret lab. After that.
Do all your screenshot submissions go straight to my spam box? No, I see all those screenshot submissions. They go into kind of a shared email inbox, although I'm typically the one who does the screenshot of the week. So I usually take... lately we've been getting, maybe in the range of a dozen submissions per week. And I go into that folder and take a look at them, put them into a subfolder, just kind of do a comparison. Pick the one that seems the best, and mail that person 500 DDO points in a code, and then use it for the screenshot of the week. So, odds are I've seen it, and it didn't go into spam.
Hissing and chilling chant comes from somewhere below. As this chant continues, forge wraiths coalesce in the air around Victor.
Panic screams and pounding feet indicate rapid losses. Victor yells, "Get back here,
All
you
right.
coward! These brutes aren't going to punish themselves!"
Yeah, so on bound to account stuff, you do need to use the shared account bank, not the in-game mail.
Good deal.
Victor presses the button on his vaunt prototype.
Nope.
The magical barrier around him fades away.
But it should work. I think there probably is, Nimvin, some level of lore as to why we're doing multiple worlds now, with Forgotten Realms and Lolth. But there's also really just more little hand-wavy stuff going on. We had an opportunity to do multiple game worlds, and we chose to do that because it's cool. Honestly, that's probably the biggest reason, because it's awesome. But, we did have, you're correct, Lolth with the Spinner of Shadows open a rift between Eberron and the Forgotten Realms, and we've seen the Codex of the Infinite Planes get used. which is sort of how Mysterious Remnants and that came about. And we've also seen the Gatekeepers do some investigation of various things there as well. Oops, I need to, actually. Must have missed an end reward. Where'd mine? Have I ever been to TwitchCon? Yeah, I was at the very first TwitchCon back in the day. I haven't been since, but I did make it to the very first TwitchCon. It was pretty fun. I had some of the best Indian food I've ever eaten in downtown San Francisco. And I had a really bad slice of pizza. And I had a really swank hotel too, actually. Still someone I'm missing here. Well, I'm going to deal with this later anyway, because we're just about... I know, right? Bad pizza. How can that how is that even possible to get bad pizza? It is possible. I know because I had it. It was some pizza by the slice place in downtown San Francisco, and it's not good, shall we say. Oh, here we go. Looks like I actually do have another quest to do. Just business, huh? Actually, looks like I have just business. There you go. Okay, but I can't get that. But I can't really do that in the next 3 minutes. So I think I'm just gonna call it a stream here. I will get you a points code in the endgame mail later on today. You see, I like gas station pizza. Yes, it is bad, but it's that good kind of bad, you know? Yep. How frequently do we get bug reports through the report form? Quite a bit. QA takes a look at that, not me, but they see them just about every day. They look through what they have and file what comes in. Or not file if it's a duplicate or something like that. But they take a look at that stuff just about every single day. Alright. From the dev chats recently, are all those changes planned and coming this year? If you're talking about the Ask the Dev stuff from DDO Cast, the stuff that we mentioned that would be coming this year would be. I think there were a couple of speculative questions regarding would we evers, and so that would not be stuff that would be formally announced as coming this year. But the stuff that we talked about, like Fei Wild's coming this year, the loot revamp is coming, frankly, within the next couple weeks. We have a free quest. The three legendarified raids are going to come out before Fei Wild. That's actually our next game update, maybe not our next patch, but our next game update. So that would be update 47. I think that pretty much covers it. Alright, so I'm going to call it a show then. Stay tuned, Samus Garobo is going to be on in just a minute. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I want to know, I'd like you to know that we are working to get up one Siegfried Trent over on DDO stream, so we're going to have a new show here in just a little bit. And I really want to thank everybody for being here today. I'll be back on Argo next week, probably running more Sharn stuff here. Until then, see ya. Have fun.